my own experiences first. I had a lot of experiences I didn't even realize were part of the Me Too movement at the time. I just thought that was the way that men treated women. And I was very used to that because I got started very young, being treated in a very inappropriate and a very demeaning way. This book was really not very hard to write because I had so many ideas in my head about my own experiences first, as I said, and then I have a lot of patients. I'm a doctor in psychology, so a lot of my patients started but I started thinking that so many of them had experiences in the Me Too movement, but they didn't realize it. What they realized is they were abused, they were mistreated, they were put down, you know, all kinds of positions that they were in, like if they were a secretary, if they were head of a department, you know, whatever they were. Nobody else has written a book about the Me Too movement yet that's been published. And so I was really the first one who wrote it in the form of the Me Too movement. You know, it was really new about 2 or 3 years ago, and I started not even thinking about it at first, and then a woman said to me, I told her an experience, and she said, oh my gosh, that's a Me Too movement experience. And I said, you're right, I didn't even realize it, because I was getting ready to go into graduate school, and so you know, I just had no idea. It was horrible when I first told her, then realized what they had been doing to me, or what they did do to me. Probably about 6 months. You know, I only the fact that I woke up in the middle of the night and went, that's true too, and I'd write it down in the dark, and then the next morning I'd pick it up and put it in the book. There were a lot of midnight experiences that I thought of that woke me up. It was amazing, you know. It was once it started, it just kept coming. So it wasn't hard at all. It was just getting it on paper. The message was that in the end I talk about ways to heal from this. And it's very, very important that that would be part of what this book was about, because otherwise people just walk around with a lot of wounds and they never have any chance to heal because they don't know how and they don't know the process. So they just don't ever get to that point. So they just keep hurting and keep having men hurt them. I mean, there are a few men that have been hurt by other men or something, but all 99% it's women that have been hurt by men in power. You know, I wish I could say now it's totally different, but it's not. There's still a lot of inequality in the wages. There's a lot of inequality in what positions people get, like in a university or in a company. So they just aren't singled out as she's just as important as he is, you know. And then the wages, people have found they're very different. And in my profession, that's not particularly true, only because I am a woman and it's clinical psychology. But in lots and lots of cases, that's not true. You know, when I started thinking about it, I had so many experiences that started so young that I had no idea that they were mistreating me. So it started, gosh, when I was about 4, 5, 6 years old. So thinking back, I learned a lot because I realized then and then, so amazing what I learned about that. My book came about because of my experiences with my patients first. You know, I'm a clinical psychologist with a Ph.D. in clinical psychology, and I started hearing about these stories, but I didn't think about it in terms of myself at first. I just knew that their experiences were very horrifying. And then I started thinking about my own experiences. And my father was a minister in a very large church, and he had a lot of people, but a lot of ministers too that knew him. So what I discovered was that they would come up to me and squeeze me too tight and say inappropriate things, you know, in my ear. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was terribly inappropriate, but I didn't realize it then. What I knew is that I had been, later I learned that I had been abused. I didn't know it at the very moment it was happening. I just knew that eventually that was horrible and abusive. But at the time, it was just normal because all the ministers did it, except for one insidious example that I won't go into that's in my book. My book is, you know, how dare you? Insidious of ways women are mistreated. The Me Too movement, my own experience called a memoir, experiences of others, and then how to heal. Here is my book, and I'm a clinical psychologist with a Ph.D. in clinical psychology, and I am in Los Angeles, California. I have a website, drpapillon.com, and my book is on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's also something that you can find through my website, and probably some other avenues that we're getting ready to put up with the publicity we're starting. So look for it. It's a wonderful book, and you'll be excited to read how you can heal from any experiences that have created pain in your life.